being delusional, and a lot of high IQ people are somewhat delusional. Jacob Rothschild is a banker, collector, and financier. He has stated he is of average intelligence. He is an honest person and I believe him when he says, "I am of average intelligence." It's in the genes for him to be financially literate opposed to something nerdy. Trying to be something you're not. My reality is what's true. I'm not typically a good consumer. I often make quite a bit of mistakes when buying things. Usually I'll forget a key part and I'll end up with something that doesn't fit correctly, have to buy adapters, and miss little details that are quite important. But I have never seen myself as consumer. My IQ doesn't really matter, I never put my intelligence before what comes natural. One thing is I'm a lot better than quite a lot of people in spotting people's natural talents. These are things people just naturally gravitate towards, and it's obvious to me when it's quite fuzzy for everyone else. Out of the people in Quora who have high IQs and like to discuss what it's like, it seems rather false that they're good at everything. Some of them are natural historians, programmers, mathematicians, or they're just flat-out nerds. I'm not someone who gets wrapped around my intelligence, it's there but I don't like to nerd out, do math competitions, or attracted to the same competitions. I know people who suck and struggle to do basic things, but exceed others in a specific area. Some who likes things clean usually I find a little dust drives them crazy. What I usually find compels people to do something is quite capitalistic. You perceive others don't do it better than you and it drives you crazy, and find you're more fit to do it than the majority attempting and doing it. Not understanding what you're really doing. You may be doing something entry level and not understand it plateaus at certain point. You may thinking pushing it further would be the next step, but in reality any further is energy and time not making enough of a difference. The next step would be managing and finding people to replace yourself. You can look at this like understanding how something works at entry level, and then managing people and you find out how people work. You find out typically on average depending on what you're paying people how long on average they'll work for you. People may complain about the job you may offer them, but it's not valid because people typically get burnt out in 2 to 5 years. As you go up the hierarchy you find people who are more committed and have longer retention rates. Failure in understanding you're building something for others or yourself. High IQs like everyone else blur personal life and pleasures with what they do and trying to pursue. Often I'll find they made their own personal paradise instead of building something successful. Turning your workplace like your home and behaving like it's your home versus a professional environment. Frustrations. It's incredibly frustrating. Anything good I've ever made has always attracted people. Maybe my intentions was making it for myself, but in the end good things will always attract people. It frustrated me in the past, because you kind of don't expect it to attract people. I've had people just throw money on my table and take things before lol. They just wanted it so bad, I couldn't even get it around my head why someone would do that. I've shown people better deals than my belonging, but for some reason they find it more valuable that I owned it. My most popular answers weren't answer where I had people in mind. The only thing I thought was I would like to read something like that. I blatantly admit I don't often write something I would enjoy myself. The majority of the time I'm blowing off steam. The answer people want is simple. How do I see it, my perspective, what I would consider something worth writing and reading, and maybe and selfishly I don't really want you to know because I think it's really good. The good things in my head I honestly don't really want to share. Who are you? I'm a rebel, I see my life as art, I don't build things that most people will get, and I'm clueless at times to why people like me or not. I'm not big on community, I'm bigger on good ideas, I understand social systems, understand human behavior beyond Myers-Briggs and the Big Five. I contemplate understanding life quite often. Having a high IQ may be who someone is for some, but not definitely for all. Artists typically can be found somewhere that has some edge. Nerdy people like sci-fi, movies, video games, and somewhere they can nerd out. Historians like to collect things from the past and know magnitudes above everyone else about history. Average people talk to their friends, in their average house, petting their dog. Average people like pets. Who are you? Means what are you really trying to go for in life? Though success may seem worth going after, it's not for everyone. I work with some nerdy people, and if they can't do nerdy things, they're miserable. Some people are very suburban, and if they're not doing suburban things quite in the middle, they're miserable. Some people want to be successful to get out of somewhere that's not them. Usually if they get what they want, they will not pursue success.